Last race, another really good race to round out the program. It's race number 11 over the 1400 metres and a Class 3 event. Viva Chaleur is on the distance drop from the 1800 to the 1400. As is Amazing Victory on the class drop like Viva Chaleur is too. Majestic Colour, visor off, blinkers go on. Mighty Stride carries an extra £5 for his last start win. Ivy Lead, blinkers off. Shadow Roll goes back on. Hyper Dragon Ball carries an extra £5 for the win. Endeared raced wide at his Hong Kong debut. Circuit Mighty Allform has been down in grade, and Master Tornado Tom has had the blinkers added.
Yes, he has, and look, he had all 3 wins in Australia with the blinkers, and he did win one of those as well. Circuit Mighty can go forward, but just wonder if he's looking for that class drop. Ivy League's been disappointing. Majestic Colour has got the blinkers going on, the visors off, and he's in barrier number 8. And outside of that, Paul, Hyper Dragon Ball, Mighty Stride, the odd one out never too soon from Barry United, who's hard to follow.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? Seizing the moment, we know he gets back. Viva Chaleur will probably go back as well, but Circuit Mighty's drawn the outside. It's just whether he can cross Majestic Colour, but I think he can.
We're going to focus, though, on the early favourite for the final race in Mighty Stride. Nick spoke to his rider, Hugh Bowman.
Hugh, Mighty Stride is your ride in the last race on Sunday afternoon. He's doing a very good job, this horse, isn't he?
He is. He's got an impressive record. He's an impressive-looking horse, and he gives you a very good feel. And he's got the advantage of barrier 1, although he is a horse that seems to race better with a little bit of room. So whether that is in fact an advantage, we'll have to wait and see. But nice progressive horse. I think he meets probably the strongest field that he has done to date, in saying all that. So it'll be interesting to see where he fits in.
You mentioned he probably appreciates a bit of room. He's a big chap as well, isn't he?
He's a big horse with a big stride, and takes a little bit of time to get organised, and he needs room to do that. So hence the description of wondering whether barrier 1 is ideal. But look, he's a very sensible horse, and if he's travelling well enough, I'm sure I'll be able to find that room, and if I can do that comfortably, he should balance up and hit the line really well.
A couple of notes on form. You mentioned obviously being some decent opposition. You've got a fairly good handle on some of them. Viva Chaleur and Majestic Colour, just a couple. So with all that in mind, who do you sort of think is his biggest rival in this race? I mean, Amazing Victory's another horse in form.
Yes, well, there is a bit of depth to the field, but the interesting runner for me in particular is Viva Chaleur. I just think he's a really nice horse who was trained on a Derby path and just was simply too far for him. So we just didn't see him deliver on what I think he's capable of. So I'm as interested as everyone else to see how he performs back in trip after a bit of a let-up. And Majestic Colour, another horse who I've had a bit to do with, he has had a more recent run, so he might be jogging on the spot, ready to capitalise. He's drawn well. He's a bit of a go-forward horse, so he might be one I can follow into the straight if circumstances prevail.
I know it's not your domain, Chung Fa, but he does tend to have his breaks up there soon after he races. He has won a trial up there as well, so I guess just that confirmation of his well-being is certainly another plus. Yeah,
look, I'm not too worried about his preparation. He's, like I said, he's a straightforward horse. He's very sensible, and I can see, I'll be surprised if he hasn't improved somewhat since his last run. So, he's well managed going into his recent runs, and there's no reason to think this one will be any different.
One horse that has improved here is Nordic Dragon. Good to see him win again on Wednesday night. He really does look like he's improving nicely.
Yes, Nick, I was really impressed with his last 100 metres. I mean, as you pointed out, I was sort of hands and heels into the line his previous victory, but I had to ask for a little more effort this time, and the response was very encouraging. So he had the top weight, and I haven't had a horse let down with that underneath me with the 135 in post. So up in class and down in weight, I think you'll see him perform well again at his next start, whenever that might be. So nice progressive horse, and looking forward to him developing.
Hugh Bowman there, the rider of Mighty Stride in the final race. We've seen a few of the opposition, Tom, in the replays, but here's a few more. Majestic Colour second, Hyper Dragon Ball. He'd been luckless a few times since he'd been here, but not this day. No, he wasn't. Hit the front of the 150. It was pretty decisive at the end. Once he found a clear air, a Hyper Dragon Ball. Majestic Colour's going well. He was beaten 1 1/4. The other horse that interests me a bit, Paul, with the blinkers going on is Master Tornado.
Peaked on his run sort of at the 150 here, but those blinkers just might sharpen him up.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he does go with the mine. I thought it was a Kozler win here from Hyper Dragon Ball, so he definitely goes in for me. And I'm going to put Majestic Colour in on a minor line as well.
And our final replay, Paul, some trial form around Amazing Victory. Very consistent horse. We'll have to carry 1-3-4. He has won with 132 pounds in the past.
Yeah, he's been placed in his last 3 starts, this horse. So, look, I'm going to put him in again on a minor line. Teton, barrier 7, but the horse gets back. But it was a nice enough trial. Yeah,
it wasn't a bad trial at all. I thought we saw Helene feeling midweek, and we'll get a line on Stoltz earlier on the card. So just has to carry that weight here, and was a bit keen last time out, so he want to settle a bit better, I feel. Amazing Victory.
That's a look and a listen to a few of the runners in the final race. Paul, as always, the last a strong field.
Yeah, it is. I think Mighty Stride can win, though. He's quite a nice progressive horse. Is Mighty Stride. He's on top to beat Hyper Dragon Ball. Good win from him last time. Amazing Victory and Majestic Colour. We've talked about all 4 of them. 4, 8, 2, 3.
4, 8, 3 and 12 in the last. I think Mighty Stride can win again. Number 4, Ricky Hughes got him firing on all cylinders at the moment. Hyper Dragon Ball, Majestic Colour and Master Tornado with those blinkers going on. And his form in Australia was useful enough with them on. So 4, 8, 3 and 12.
And that wraps it up. The last of the 11 races at Sha Tin on Sunday. A reminder with the 11 races, it's an early start time. Race 1 at 12:30.